Okay, hello. Hi, my name is Leslie Williams, and I know this probably looks stupid. And you might even think to yourself, well, why didn't this woman wait until after her headache was gone before she made this video? And I'll just flat out say the reason why is because I can't afford to wait until I get rid of this headache before I make this video, because this is a prediction video. And I'm aware that it looks stupid. I've already taken a rehearsal video to see how I look, and plus I got a migraine. That's the reason why I'm laying down. Hold on a second. This is literally what I got to go through even when I'm sick, because I'm a target victim and activist. Hang on. Pertaining to the crimes of what is known as organized stalking. I'm not even allowed to have the peace of mind to be sick in peace. And I'll explain to you what that means in a second. As a result of me being a target victim and activist concerning organized stalking, I have went through many things. All of them crimes being against myself. And I am sorry that this video is being made while I'm laying down. I know sometimes people watch YouTube videos in order to be able to enjoy one that's well made, and maybe even look for one that will make them smile and laugh. And that's why I've made my comedy videos in the past. Hold on one more second. So I got a migraine that comes up from the neck to the side of the nose and in the temple. And sometimes when you get a migraine, they can last up to 4 or 5 days. Right when I'm preparing to move, too. Okay, so the purpose and the reason why I'm making this particular video is because back in 2012, okay, I was living in a different hiking area between March 2012 and October 2012, and then I moved to this one, and I've been here ever since October 2012, and I've been harassed on a daily basis by some homeless, filthy bums that they're using about 100 feet away. They just got done harassing me not even 5 minutes ago. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up 2012 is because I was hiking 150 feet right next door to the San Diego FBI, and when I initially put my tent up there, and for the first few months, I didn't know that it was a San Diego FBI building until I discovered it. Okay? And then I thought to myself, who gives a shit, you know? I mean, because the FBI were notified about what was happening to me a long time ago. And they didn't do jack shit about it, and they were also, and that was in another state, and they were also notified about it here in this state. They didn't do a damn thing about it, not one thing, because they just don't give a shit. Just like they don't give a shit about my other fellow targeted individuals out there that are being gang stalked. So I thought to myself, well, screw this. I mean, I know how my rent. See, organized stalking and gang stalking expeditions create homelessness of a target. That way they can turn around and later claim the target can't take care of themselves because they're homeless, while they're claiming they're being stalked by people they don't know. And that's done to try and attempt to take syndicated probate control by claiming the target's mentally ill because they're claiming they're being stalked by people they don't know, and because they won't get an apartment even though they got an income. I've been gang stalked at least 4 or 5 apartments. Now all you got to do is go to the internet and research how they will gang stalk a target to apartment buildings, how they get landlords and property owners on board, how they'll even go as far as it's termed on the internet that they will rent apartments next to a target. The best thing to do to go to Google is to type in, just bear with me for a second, because I'm gonna describe to you why I'm using this specific word, renting adjacent apartments. Or should I say words? Okay. Now you can go to Google and type in organized stalking or gang stalking, how they will rent adjacent apartments next to targets. Okay, apartments that are above, below, or next to a target. And I got some information on my laptop right now pertaining to how Julia McKinney was interviewing some targeted individuals, and she believed that it was for so the perpetrators could use certain technologies against and around the target. And I'm not going to go there in this particular video because it wouldn't serve the purpose of this video. Let me just put it to you this way. Just trust me, okay? Now, but what I believe what they're doing though is I don't think that they're renting apartments that are adjacent to targets. I think what they're doing is using their influence at the federal, state, and local level to lie to landlords and property owners with the theme of the type of lie that's used is that they try and claim the target's being watched and under surveillance for possible criminal and probably maybe even terrorism activities. If you went to the internet right now and researched how the U.S. government is targeting veterans and did that research in that, you would probably come to understand that there's only a certain amount of legal mechanisms that can be used, like NSA letters, which are actually nothing but FBI instruments. Okay? And those kinds of letters are even very extremely hard to prove that anybody was approached with them, including a target's own lawyer. I'm not saying that they're being used for this purpose, but I do know that there's a lot of targets out there that have sued the FBI. I know that much. Like Brian 2 in San Diego, and David Larson, Larson. You can YouTube him and cross-reference him to gang stalking and look at who he's talking about. Now, gang stalking is not stalking by gangs at all. It's nothing but if you're being gang stalked, there's a great likelihood that one of the following four are responsible for it. That being corporations, institutions, governments, and organized crime. You can be picked by one and the other three will join in on it, because it's a mechanism that was set up in the government. And you might think to yourself, well, why would the government protect organized crime gang stalking? Because there's organized crime in the government. Okay? And the average American citizen doesn't have a clue. They don't have a clue. So anyways, if they'll go as far as renting apartments adjacent to targets, just Google that term and cross-reference it to organized stalking or gang stalking. And then it's all over the internet that they create homelessness of targets. Okay? They stole my rent that was mailed, certified mail return receipt. Now that can be Googled. You can go to Google and type in mail theft and mail delayment and gang stalking and or organized stalking. Research it with those two terms. And then post employees, and you'll see that I tracked and confirmed that rent that was mailed for up to 6 to 8 months after it was mailed, and it still hadn't been delivered. And I already knew that I was gang stalked at that apartment because they were breaking into it, entering it, taking the blinds off the window, throwing them on the floor, throwing my food on the floor from the refrigerator. Hold on a second. Refolding my clothes, especially personal clothes, if you know what I mean. You know, like your underwear and shit like that. Stealing things and then replacing them later at a later date at a different spot. Moving furniture around. They did every single thing that is directly connected to gang stalking methods that was all over the internet, and that's done to put the target and victim in a victimized mindset. And it's done to make their privacy feel violated. It's also done to try to attempt to blur the boundaries between them and the target. Okay, and it's also done to motivate the target to move. And when they seen I wouldn't move, they stole the rent. And they kept stealing it every month for like 4 or 5 months in a row. And then they waited to the last minute to where I could legally go after them for it, and then after they sent me an eviction notice stating that I got 7 days to prove that the rent was paid, and then they'd wait until almost the morning of the 7th day, and then contact me and say they got it and it got lost in billing. And they realized they could only use that excuse so many times in a row, because I started tape recording everything along my routes. So anyways, what I'm trying to say is that, so then they just finally stole it. Okay? So, with all this shit going on, just concerning what I described already in this video, do you really honestly think that you would continue to pay rent when they finally start stealing it? Because then you gotta pay the last month's that they stole, and then the next month that's due. And then they could turn around and steal that. You'll never see it again. So it's just another form of racketeering, and to make you homeless. So after being gang stalked to 3 to 4 to 5 separate apartments, and this shit happening at each one, being driven crazy every day by neighbors that were throwing shit against the wall, playing extremely loud music, banging doors, slamming doors, getting their dogs to bark, combination of all this on top of them breaking into my apartment and doing all of the aforementioned things that I stated that they did, and then stealing your rent, do you really think you'd stay? And then just go get another apartment where the same thing would continue? No, you go to a motel room. Then they gang stalk you to a motel room. Google that. So I finally decided to just go hiking. Now, what is the purpose of this video? I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever that certain specific San Diego police officers have engaged in behavior that could and might and probably will, they will probably attempt to use this previous behaviors to attempt to take syndicated probate, petition the state to take syndicated probate control of me. Now let me just, that's one of the reasons why the homelessness is created, so they can create the homelessness, stage events to make it appear they gotta know that they have a normal appearing reason to know where the target's living. They then come to that hiking area and make an incident report stating that the police were called for any reason. They'll stage an event, they'll even assault you and then have the person who assaulted you point out to where you live. That way they can make a falsified incident report about where you live, evict you from where you're living, trespassing, while the perpetrator who assaults you get away with it. Because all you got to do is deny it. And then turn around and say she's harassing my friends that are hiking 100 feet away, who are actually the ones who are harassing me. That's right. Let me just show you some proof here. You're about ready to listen to the audio right now of some individuals that got up on a sidewalk on Thanksgiving Day 2013, and as they were harassing me, they both said gang stalk, then one said gang stalking, and then that same one said gang and stalking. I'm going to F you up. All you got to do is listen. Now, one of the biggest things that they do not like concerning the perpetrators who perpetrate organized stalking is they do not like to be exposed, and they do not like the places that they're using for their crimes to be exposed, like public libraries, universities, because universities have libraries at them. So what they'll do there is they'll stage what is known as street theaters, where they make it appear that somebody is legitimately complaining about you, so they can use that as an excuse to ban you. Or what they'll do is bring individuals to sit next to you, behind you, or in front of you, or a combination of all three, to do things to irritate the hell out of you while you're trying to concentrate on what you're doing online. They did that yesterday at the North University San Diego Public Library, and what they were doing was designed to make it appear that it was just an idiot acting out. You know, not knowing how to be quiet while he was on the computer. Okay? Hang on a second. See, because let me just pay attention to one way that they work, because they try to get up in your head. Okay? I caught a North University San Diego branch manager library saying gang stalk okay, as I walked by him. And a minute before, when I was in a separate room that was separated between me and him, the wall of the room was, it had glass on the wall. Okay, so when I was getting up from the computer and going to leave the library to go take a cigarette break, I got up from the computer and went to go unplug all my stuff from the computer so I could put it in my duffel bag so I could go out to take a break. So when I got out of my chair to do these things, I turned my head and noticed the San Diego, North University San Diego Public Library branch manager engaging in gang-stalking physical gestures. So I had a tape recorder that was running on me at the time, which is even recording right now. And it's put in a pouch attached to my undergarments on my chest, which the microphone is at the top, which means that when I noticed him engaging in these physical gestures, tape recorder is positioned like this on my chest. So all I did was I bent my head down a little bit, covered up my mouth, and said the branch manager right now is gaslighting me. Now, gaslighting is a term that describes gang-stalking harassment. I then continued to pick up all my stuff and then walked out of the room, the computer room that I was in, and the branch manager was on the other side of the wall of the computer room. And they had no way to know that I said that the branch manager is gaslighting me right now discreetly in my tape recorder, because it took 2 seconds to say it, not even that. So then after I picked up my stuff and walked out of that room and walked by him, he said gang stalk. Now you just got done hearing these guys say gang stalk, gang stalking, and gang is stalking, I'm gonna F you up. That was their way to form a mental association in the target's mind that these specific people have been brought on board in the harassment of you by saying things around you or doing things around you that they know are already anchored in your mind pertaining to how you're being gang stalked. Like, for instance, I got 800 audio files of individuals getting around me every single day, everywhere I go, non-stop saying gang stalk in specific ways, identical ways, everywhere I go. Okay? So then he follows me out of the library and starts complaining about me, starts saying that people are complaining about me for burping, eating food in the room, and everything, right? In the computer lab room. And so I said, look, and then he threatened to call the police. I said, look, if you want, I burped accidentally when I walked by him because I had a Sprite or a Coca-Cola earlier in the day. So he tried to get up and say that people were complaining about me burping and being loud and eating in the computer room. I said, well, where are these people at? Because that's one of the biggest things they try to say, is that people who cannot be found or identified are complaining about you. Do you see what I'm saying? Right after he says gang stalk. Because first what they wanted to do is anchor the mental association in your mind that he's part of it, and then come out and act like he's got a legitimate complaint against you. But let's look at this in reverse. And what do I mean by that? Yesterday when I was in there, they get a guy to come in. They already knew I was on my way there. Okay, I'm gang stalked from this place everywhere I went. I've made videos at this place. Okay, and when I made the video, they were video predictions. And as I was making them, I was showing a picture of my cell phone like I'm showing you right now. Okay. Which you can see it's 2:36 p.m. on February 8, 2014. There's also a command feature in my tools menu that I didn't know was there, and I've been using it now for about a month, 2 months. Once you click on the voice command feature in the tools menu, it enables the phone to state the date and time electronically, like you're about ready to hear.
Say a command. February 8th, Saturday, 2:37 p.m.
Now, I had made video predictions at this location outside of my tent, stating that I'm getting ready to leave, and let's see if gang stalk is set along any of my routes today. I then leave here and walk to a bus stop. Okay? That's right. Walk to a bus stop with my bike. I wait at the bus stop for the bus to come. The bus comes, I put my bike on the bus. As I'm putting my bike on the bus, I will make a second notation in a running tape recorder. Let's see if anybody says gang stalk once I get on this bus. I get on the bus and it's said over 20 times by people who are already on the bus. The only way that they could craft that timed, synchronized harassment is that and it's happened multiple times, multiple times. I'd say anywhere between 20 and 30 times. The only way that they could stage and put that type of crafted harassment for me to experience by them, by people who were already on the bus, let this plane go by, was for them to know exactly when I left this area. Now, in part, do they hack into a targeted individual's cell phone and use it as a GPS locator, as a microphone, and as a camera? Go to YouTube and type that in: cell phone hacking and stalking, cell phone hacking and gang stalking, cell phone hacking and tracking. Just do it. It's how they're able to set up the timed, crafted harassment of you, towards you. And what they'll do is, if they see that I'm going to the North University San Diego Public Library, they'll put up, and they know the reason why I go there, because it's the only reason why I do go there is to use the computers. Every time that I went there, that's all I do is use the computers. So, by the time I get there, they already have 2 punks sitting in there, about 3 seats away from where I normally sit. I get in there, and the first thing they make sure I notice when I get in there is that they're engaging in certain physical gestures for me to see. That's done to let me know that they're there purposely and intentionally, overtly. Go to YouTube and type in "learning disabled woman catches gang stalker admitting sent to harass, read comments." That was me catching 3 teenagers admitting they were put on the 928 bus route to engage in specific physical gestures. And when they admitted it, I had a hidden running recording tape recorder. Okay? That was when I was hiking over next to the FBI, and then within 2 weeks I got evicted from the FBI building where I was, hiking next door to it. Now, when you look at that YouTube video, make sure that you look at everything in the description of that YouTube video, because it shows me at the 928 bus stop almost 2 full months before, me exposing what I was putting up with on bus routes and at universities, people engaging in certain physical gestures. So I get to the North University San Diego Public Library yesterday, and as soon as I sit down, turn my head to the right, there's this kid in there. He looks like he's anywhere between 16 and maybe 20. Okay? And he's sitting there engaging in physical gestures for me to see, that they have me sensitized to. That's done to automatically let me know that he's there purposely and intentionally. It's how they make you feel stalked, by getting around you, repeating certain words, phrases, physical gestures, repeating specific sounds, like specific ways of coughing and clearing your throat. Crazy as shit. All you gotta do though is YouTube it and Google it, and you'll see I'm telling you the truth. Okay? Why do you think these guys are saying gang stalking, and gang stalking? I'm gonna F you up. Now, I'm going to tell you something right now. Our elected officials do not give 2 shits at all about what's happening to any organized stalking, gang stalking target. The only thing they know is that they got to protect their ass in reference to who their boss is and who's giving them orders not to advocate for any organized stalking, gang stalking targets, because the places that are being used generate hundreds of millions of dollars to the tax base of the state and county that the institutions are located in, like universities. If this got out, because human trafficking is directly connected to organized stalking and gang stalking. If this got out, the university's image would be affected. The enrollment would be affected. Look at what happened with Penn State. Now, if it got out that library staff was involved in gang stalking, people wouldn't go to the library. Plus, they could all be sued. So if you don't think our public officials, you wouldn't believe the shit that's going on right now in our San Diego government. District Attorney's Office members engaging in unscrupulous behavior. Prosecutors doing the same. A San Diego police officer just got arrested 2 days ago for sexually assaulting 4 women. And one was just put in prison a year ago. And he's appealing the case now right now, Averellis. So the point I'm trying to make to you is that, and Avarellis was one of the guys who, back in 2011, refused to let me make a police report that I was being gang stalked. I got his name, he wrote his name on a piece of paper. So, anyway, I'm sitting at the North University San Diego Public Library, and as soon as I get in there and sit down, I notice this guy engaging in these physical gestures sitting 3 seats from me. So that was just their way to let me know, again, that I've been stalked there by putting people there before I even get there. And they do that just in case a event comes about. They and I get up and complain that the guy's gang stalked me, then they can turn around and say, well, look, Leslie, our video's showing that he was here before you got here. Gang stalking is nothing but community-based harassment that is achieved through covert surveillance and the tracking of a target. And they get to realize the target's regular routines. Like, when I get take the 204, I've never got taken that bus for any reason except for to go to the North University San Diego Public Library. And they know when I go to that library, I only use it to go to the computer lab. So they just, through deduction, realize my regular routes and what I do when I'm on those regular routes, or what I more than likely will do, and will place these people in these places before I arrive. That way they can deny that it was set up because of gang stalking. And even call you crazy if you know it, if you complain about it. So then after he makes sure that I notice his physical gestures, he starts acting in ways pertaining to how I was supposedly complained about. Eating, laughing really loud, swearing, right inside of a computer lab. That's right. To the point to where I could barely concentrate. It was literally that loud. So, I got on my video camera, and I was pretending to take a video picture of him discreetly, right while the library's security camera is right above on the window. Okay? And I wanted to do that to try and see if the library, if he would get up and complain about me taking a video picture of him. Okay? Because they use that excuse towards me at UCSD. That's right. And they work what they do is they work in ways where they try to make it appear, they provoke you to do things, and then trying to make it appear that they're using what you're doing as an excuse to ban you. So I took my video camera and set it down on the table. Okay? Next thing I see is the guy getting on his phone and text messaging somebody. First he received a text message, and then he text messaged. And then with 5 minutes later, one of the library employees comes in and tells him not to eat or be loud. Now, did they think that I took a video picture of him and they wanted it to be known on their video camera that they were correct in their behavior, because I was going to eventually point him out as far as being involved in gang stalking, because they didn't know if I took the picture or not. So they wanted to have a defense on video by showing that a library personnel came in to correct them after over 45 minutes of non-stop loudness, loud swearing, doing things to disrupt people's behavior. So basically what they were doing was they were letting me know that this guy was there intentionally, and then got him to engage in all the behaviors that were supposedly complained about concerning me. I don't know what kind of specific complaints they had outside of what they told me, which was burping and eating food and disobeying the policies of the library. Now, what I'm basically trying to do is tell you is that they intentionally make you feel mentally raped. All you gotta do is look at it this way. I walk by a library manager and he says gang stalk. Then he comes out and then tells me that if he gets any more complaints about me, I could be banned or the police could be called, even though he said gang stalk a minute before. Then I come in the library on one of the next dates, because I haven't been going to that library at all, and I'm sitting next to a guy who's gaslighting me with gang stalk and physical gestures, and they let him get away with over 45 minutes of being loud and disruptive purposely. And that's done so you'll think about what he's doing and what he's getting away with, while you know he's associated to gang stalking. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just like the manager who said gang stalk when I walked by him, and then he came out and complained about me. It's a way to make you feel mentally raped. Do you understand what I'm saying? Alright, now, organized stalking and gang stalking perpetrators will set up fake YouTube accounts. And they will also pretend to be third parties that are noticing your videos, and then they turn around and will post comments on your YouTube channels claiming that you're mentally ill and that they're going to call the police on you. Or if I'm using a university library computer and I'm exposing what's happening at that university, they'll get online and make statements that you're harassing my son or daughter, you're harassing students by taking video pictures of them. Nothing can be further from the truth. Okay, literally. And they use that to make it appear that they're going to have a normal appearing reason to contact campus safety to have you evicted from the library so you can't use the computers. Hang on a second. Now, it's all over the internet that these perpetrators get online and pretend to be targets. Okay? They even set up this one girl, I forget what state it was, I think it was probably New York. They got online and pretended to be people that were advocating for targets, and they sucked this one girl into moving to the location that they were at. They were offering to help her, and she moved there, and they set her up in an apartment and then had her constantly raped by drugging her food. And that was discovered by a John Hall, and they sent her to a rape crisis center. Pornography, voyeurism. They were entering her apartment and putting, I guess, rohypnol in her drinks and in her food, waiting until it took effect, and then bringing men in and having sex with her while she was knocked out and videotaping it. That's right. So, because organized stalking and gang stalking is directly connected to human trafficking. You better believe it is. Now, I got the audio file pertaining to Dr. John Hall talking about how they did that to that one girl. But the whole goal for them is to make it appear that places have normal appearing reasons to ban you from the library. Because you're using the library computers to expose what's happening to you and where it's happening to you at. See what I'm saying? SDSU pulled the same shit. USD pulled the same shit. And UCSD right now is working on it to do it again. All of it predicted by me. That's right. That's right. They'll sit and use somebody who's involved in gang stalking activities towards you overtly for you to notice, and then use that same person to get up and ask you for a cigarette. Or then use that same person to get up and complain about you. Just like they'll use a person to assault you, okay, and then so bad to the point to where you call the police because you notice where he walked to, the police come out, he says he didn't assault you, but then he points the finger and says where you live at, and then the police evict you from where you live. And the police lets the guy get away from assaulting you. These are the little methodologies of organized stalking. And they are the ones who created the homelessness, and the police won't investigate none of it. Because they're protecting the businesses, the universities, the public libraries, and the transportation services that have been used in the gang stalking against you. There's a woman by the name of Rachel O. She was gang stalked at UCSD in December 2012. In the same exact building that I was in, the same exact building, which is one of the buildings that I've been gang stalked on their campus. See, because they know that these filthy whores and sewer rats downtown are going to protect these businesses and universities and public libraries because of the business interest pertaining to the taxes, okay, that are generated to the county tax base, and because it's organized crime in the system that's perpetrating the crime to begin with. So you better believe, look, if they got employees at a Ralph's grocery store to engage in the gang stalking of me when I go in that store, and I turn around and sue Ralph's, Ralph's is going to have the posture where they're going to say, look, you solicited us to do this towards this woman when she came into our grocery store. Now she's suing us, so you better cover our ass. And they'll say, well, we're going to cover your ass because what we're going to do is pipeline her case before a syndicated judge. Or we'll have her arrested and then put in a county mental health so the judge won't believe a damn word she says. Well, do you really think that my phone is delusional in reference to what I've already uploaded to this video about them individuals saying gang stalk on the sidewalk as they're threatening to kick my ass? And that event occurred 8 days after I told a UCSD campus police officer that individuals were getting around me on their campus and repeating gang stalk. And on the same day of November 20th, 2013, I caught a library security guard say to me in a hidden running tape recorder that was recording that a staged complaint can be used to ban me. That's right. That's right. That's already on the internet. So the reason why I'm making this particular video is that because they can, and they will, okay, attempt to set up fake YouTube accounts, including even pretending to be fellow targets. I'm going to spend about the next 2.5 weeks to a month literally moving from this area because I got so much shit to move. Summer clothes, winter clothes, camping gear, sleeping blankets, a huge amount of printed out stuff that I accumulated over the last 15 months. All that shit's got to be moved on a bike, which means I can only carry so much with me on one day. I'm going to be moving it to several different new established hiking areas that I'm going to play shell games with. In other words, I'm going to stay at one for like a week, then go to another one, stay there for a week. So I'm leaving property at each one while I'm trying. You wouldn't believe what's involved in moving. You just wouldn't believe it because you not only... It can take 3 days just to move one set of property. You got to get that one set of property out. You got to categorize it. You got to itemize it. Then you got to bag it up. That's one day. The second day you go to move it. Okay. The second day you go there and then you go to move it. Okay. And then by the time that day is done with, you get back home and then the third day is started. Okay. So if you don't do anything for another couple days, except for maybe go to use the computer somewhere, then you got to wait another 2 days to go do that, and then you got to repeat the same cycle again. So that's 1 week just to move 2 sets of property. That's right. And if one set of the property causes you to move it 3 times, do you see how long that shit's taking? And that's not including on setting up these places, finding them, and then setting them up. Now, if I'm doing all this while I'm using a public library, because right now I'm not going back to UCSD because of the bullshit that they were starting towards me over there, giving me a letter stating that a biomedical library staff employee complained about me for no reason whatsoever, literally. Even though the library security director will not meet with me physically in person so I can show her that he had no grounds to say that I was harassing him at all, because the event was caught on a tape recorder. And they know it. You better believe they know it. I told them it, for one. So what they were doing was setting the stage to ban me from there. Again, for at least another year. So when I go to upload videos over at the North University San Diego Public Library, I'm lucky if one 9-minute video can be uploaded within an hour. I'm lucky. That's right. That's right. So none of my videos are really getting uploaded that I've made just in the last week and a half. And then I go down to the law library to discreetly upload videos of evidence, and they got the security guard there harassing me. All this harassment is achieved through what is known as at least the community notification, which is a law enforcement tool that's being illegally and criminally used. In order to achieve the objectives, the harassment, and the staged events that are used to ban the target, in order to put the target out and about in the community with no ways of exposing them about what's happening to them. You know, with no means, electronic means to expose what's happening to them, because they're being banned from all the libraries. Libraries that San Diego County residents pay for through their tax dollars. And what they do is make it look all official-like. They'll fill out a letter on their letterhead stating, Miss Williams, you've had numerous complaints about you, but yet I email them back and say, well, who are these people that complained and what are the complaints? Meet with me so we can review each complaint separately so you can show me what these complaints were and who played a role in it and what they were about. Then they all of a sudden stop communicating with me. Because they just believe, wait till she comes back, stage another one, hand deliver her a letter, and that's all we need to do. And that she'll be banned, and then they'll use library security to do it. These are the little schemes of gang stalking. They won't show you no evidence about who's complained about you, so you can refute it, while they're baiting you to come back so they can do it again. And then all they have to do is lie about it, and then even call you crazy for these statements. Literally. So the whole goal for them is to also make it appear that they got a legal appearing reason to know where you're hiking at. By setting up a fake YouTube account. They pulled this shit back in 2012 at the last hiking area I was at. And they left the... Oops, hang on. And they left a paper trail behind. That's right. One of the YouTube channels that they set up, that they used for this, that the San Diego police used as an excuse to make it look like they had a normal appearing reason to know where I'm hiking at, one of the YouTube channels was caught in a lie. And that lie got connected to social services and the San Diego police. Now this, at the end of the day, is about syndicated probate control, racketeering, insurance fraud, and human trafficking, where they make the target individual homeless, have them gang stalked along all their routes, stage events towards them along all their routes, and then use these events and schemes to make it appear they got a legal appearing reason to know where you live, so they can accumulate documentation about you being homeless, especially over a long period of time. They first create the schemes to make it look like they know where you live initially in 1 year, like in 2012. Then they'll develop another scheme to make it look like they know where you live in 2014. And then they start asking you questions about, oh, well, how long you've been homeless, so they can fill out these falsified reports while you've already requested in between that you're being gang stalked. And then they file an incident report on, like, every time that I've had to call 911, they refuse to make a police incident report that I'm being gang stalked, but they did make incident reports. Now, what's in those incident reports? They won't let me see them. Are these accumulated incident reports used to take syndicated probate control of the target after they stage a huge event and say, well, Miss Williams, you got a long period here, you got a long history of you claiming you're being stalked by people you don't know, plus you're being banned from libraries, which is showing inappropriate behavior, okay, while you're claiming you're being gang stalked there, plus you're homeless and won't get out of it, even though you got a steady income. All of this is factually happening while they're lying about it in incident reports in order to make it appear that they need to take syndicated probate control. It's racketeering. And they do that to co-opt your monthly checks, your finances, to exploit your insurance, and exploit you sexually in a syndicated run, organized crime group home that they're connected to. It's the whole reason why the homelessness was created to begin with. Do you really honestly think that gang stalking is happening just because they want to break the target down to the point to where the target just commits suicide? Of course not. It would cause them to lose money. The only way that they would do that for that purpose would be that if they were a whistleblower and the target, well, even though targets do become whistleblowers, the only reason why they would initiate gang stalking against a whistleblower and try and drive them to be suicidal is if the company that they were or the government that they were whistleblowing against felt that they could lose a lot of money if what they were whistleblowing about ever got out. Otherwise, their whole goal is to make money. Okay? Now, off the target. Now, it's all over the internet that human trafficking is directly connected to gang stalking, insurance fraud, racketeering, land co-opting, property co-opting, mortgage co-opting, identity theft, trust fund liquidation, every and any type of crime you can think of, including by targeting people that are on disability. They target the elderly because they're on Social Security. They're targeting veterans because they're on disability. People with pensions, fixed incomes, like retired government employees, they're targeting. They're even targeting postal employees. Even though postal employees can be involved in gang stalking, they're even targeting postal employees with gang stalking. Okay? Because in part what they're doing, when they set up one of these group homes, they can put anywhere between 7 and 11 people in one home. Now, if you're applying for benefits in that target's name, or if you're co-opting their existing benefits, that's 7 to 11 people that are being used as a monthly income, not including the insurance fraud or the money made from the human trafficking. So what they're basically doing is flipping property by accelerating the mortgage payments faster than they would normally be paid. And then once the mortgage is paid, they flip the property and just move the clients to a different home and start it all over again. That's alright. So we're looking at non-stop torture, rape, human trafficking, and the gang stalking continues in the home. So they can petition the target into county mental health when they stage events in these homes, which are now isolated environments. They'll stage events in the homes and then make it appear that it's the target's fault, blame the target for the event, and then claim that they got to put the target into the hospital since they got syndicated probate control. Okay? And this is done for insurance fraud because they pipeline the target to a syndicated doctor in a neighborhood area hospital. psychiatric for. There's a manifesto that's on the internet right now titled "A Gang Stalking Tech: Everything You Need to Know," which is a manifesto of a manager of gang stalking. He flat out states that the doctors are considered the money bags, that the courts are the favorite place to trap the courts, that entire police departments have been taken over, syndicated schools are mentioned in the manifesto, and it also states that all the communications of a target are monitored. So we're going to see if they set up any YouTube accounts to make it appear that somebody's contacting this any law enforcement branch or district attorney's office or prosecutor's office or the mayor or any police department stating that Miss Williams is claiming she's being gang stalked. We've been watching her videos for a while. We noticed that she all of a sudden stopped uploading the videos, and they're also making videos that I publish to the internet but yet make private because I'm not ready for them to be published yet. So what I'm saying is I'll upload the video to YouTube and then make them private. They're going into my accounts and making them public. That's right. That's right. So basically what I'm trying to say is that what they did in 2012 was they created 5 separate YouTube accounts, tried to make it appear that they had normal concern about my mental stability, and then forwarded those YouTube videos to the San Diego police. And then they used the most craziest excuse to make it appear that they had a normal appearing reason to know where I was hiking at, so they could come to my hiking area. And between them, the San Diego Homeless Rescue Mission, and Social Services, I caught him in a lie. In fact, I caught him in 3 lies. And one of the lies left an undisputable paper trail. So we're going to try and see, and they also were using these same YouTube accounts to leave messages on my YouTube videos that I will soon be banned from library computers, and within a week I was banned from UCSD libraries for a year. That's right. They get online and act like I'm stalking and will literally leave the most outrageous, completely bold-faced bullshit lies on my YouTube account stating that I'm stalking students when I'm the one being gang-stalked by students they're using. Ah, can you believe that's crazy shit? And that's done so you'll look at the message and so you think to yourself, well, this is complete bullshit because I know I'm being gang-stalked by students because they want you to remember that you're being gang-stalked. It's all about keeping you mentally preoccupied with the fact that crime's happening to you. Why do you think that they set up people? Why do you think these guys are saying gang stalk as they're threatening to kick my ass? Because they want you to be aware that what's happening to you is because of gang stalking. They want you to be constantly thinking about how you're being gang stalked. They want you to be constantly thinking about you being gang stalked. Why do you think they're saying gang stalking, and gang stalking? I'm going to F you up. Ah, dang it. My phone, the battery went. Alright, so I'm going to have to charge my phone while I'm doing this. Alright, so anyways, we're going to see if anybody comes to this hiking area, okay, and tries to bother me about anything, including any California law enforcement. Hold on. And that includes any events that are done here or out and about in the community. So those events will produce the police to be called, and then as a result, anybody that played a role in the event or as a witness can point the finger pertaining to where I'm living at. We're also going to see if any law enforcement branch tries to say that they were contacted about me not being online for a while. They were able to then deduce where I'm living at and then come here to supposedly check to see if I'm okay. And let me tell you about these syndicated filthy whore cops. They'll act like they're in your presence because they want to make sure you're okay, while they're even offering services for you to go to, like homeless shelters and community resources that can help you out. You go there and guess what happens? You're gang stalked to there. And that's done to try and make it appear that Miss Williams was offered services and then she went to them and then left. which is another one of their ways to try and imply that Leslie, Miss Williams, cannot take care of herself because she's not doing anything to get out of the homelessness. It's another excuse to be put, it's another type of theme statement to put on the incident reports. They stage events and set up fake YouTube accounts to make it appear they got a normal appearing reason to know where you're living at for the accumulated documentation. See what I'm saying? They're nothing but schemes. They throw you out on the street by getting landlords and property owners on board and or using post employees on boards to create the homelessness, and then stage these events brought about through schemes that are covertly created and then overtly and directly brought about while stating that none of it has to do with gang stalking. Because they have to try and claim the target's delusional. Let me ask you a question. If you walked up to anybody and you didn't know anything about gang stalking, and that person, well, say if somebody walked up to you and says, like if you're an uncorrupted cop, somebody walked up to you and said that I'm being stalked by people I don't know, can you please help me? And if that cop does not have no clue at all whatsoever about gang stalking, okay, and if the target didn't know that what was happening to them was gang stalking, then that cop is going to maybe think that this person is delusional. And if incident reports have already been filed against that target's driver's license number, claiming that the target's delusional by the syndicated cops, then that real cop is going to think that that person is delusional, because the target doesn't even have the ability to tell that unsyndicated cop that they're a gang stalking target. Hang on. Because the gang stalking target doesn't even know yet what's happening to them as gang stalking. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's right. These filthy whores, they'll stage an event that is so traumatizing and so huge to where the target has no other reflexatory reaction to think of except for to call the police. And they know that the target's more than likely gonna... Let me tell you something right now. If they had a person walk up to you and bash you in the head with a bike helmet, and then have that person walk away and go into an area, and you know that there's only one way out of that area, like another hiking area, that person who is possibly living in, the one who bashed you in the face with a bike helmet, do you honestly think for 1 second that that target would not be motivated to call the police? Police come out, they go down into the area where the guy went into, he comes out and says, I didn't hit her, she's crazy. She's not only crazy, but she bothers my other fellow buddies who are hiking very close to her. He'll say something along the lines that they got to put up with her every day, and I know where the bitch lives, let me show you. When it's actually the complete, total opposite of what's really going on. The individuals they set up to harass me 100 feet away, harass me every day. He did assault me, and then he points the finger about where I'm living while he's trying to call me crazy. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then the syndicated cop evicts me, lets him walk, and makes a falsified incident report. These are the little schemes of gang stalking. Because it's all about traumatization and putting you in and keeping you in a victimized mindset while screwing you over even about the victimization, like an assault, by causing you to move. That's right. So we're going to see if these filthy whores use any of my YouTube videos to contact any law enforcement or any San Diego District Attorney's Office lawyer or prosecutor on any date. I don't give a shit how it comes about or how that individual might even be getting online, setting up these YouTube accounts and pretending to be a target. True bona fide targets know police are involved in this shit. They would never call the police. They would never contact the police. Because true bona fide targets know that the police are involved in this shit. That's right. That's right. Or can be solicited to do it without them even knowing about it. So we're going to see if they go back to using fake YouTube accounts again. The YouTube accounts they used in 2012 were caught in a direct lie, and in fact 2 of them. And one of the lies was left with a paper trail, which makes it undisputable. That's right. One of them was stupid enough to send me an email from the account that they set up, stating that they knew when my social services application date was on, the interview day. I didn't tell anybody because I don't know anybody, and the San Diego police hadn't been told yet, because they offered to go down there with me, but that offer happened after the email was sent. So how does this bitch know what date my interview was on? for my social services review of my application. How did she know it? I was already online exposing social services. That's right. And then you wouldn't believe what happened down at social services. They were caught in a bold-faced lie. And then social services was caught individuals being around me and getting around me saying gang stalk inside of social services, just like you just already heard on this video file pertaining to this Thanksgiving event. And guess what happened? Where this Thanksgiving event occurred at, now I'm charging my phone. I got brutally assaulted on January 30th, 2014, about 43 days later on the same exact sidewalk by an individual that I had seen talking to these two guys from the Thanksgiving event on 2 prior occasions. Now, are these people directly connected to a specific number-coded HA location? You better believe it. You better believe it. That's right. And the police might even try and say, well, we definitely got to rescue Leslie now, and if she doesn't take our offer for help, that should show anybody that she's not able to take care of herself. Because now she's living in an area where homeless people are beating her up. Yeah. Even though they refuse to take a police report on anywhere between 17 and 21 separate occasions that I'm a gang stalking target. So what does that tell you about how much they care about my safety? Alright, I gotta go. I appreciate you listening. Have a nice day.